Hey everyone, so we are going to close out our day before we get to community helpers. We are going to continue learning about that in social studies today, learning in math about fractions. This is going to be a very quick lesson because I want to spend most of the time learning about fractions in class, but I'm just going to review some of the stuff that we talked about today. So remember, fractions is just another way of saying equal parts. So whenever you think of the word fractions, I want you to think of the word equal parts. Okay? So fractions means equal parts. Remember, you can make equal parts of any shape. However, if you were to cut this shape into two parts, that would not be a fraction because this shape over here is not equal to this part over here. So those are not fractions. Now let's review 1 whole, 1/2, 1/4, 1/3, etc. So these are our fractions. You can make a whole out of any shape, but we are going to use a circle to make our example. This is 1 whole. If I were to shade in the shape with a highlighter, I would use to color in the whole thing, and that means we have 1 whole. Okay? Now if I cut my shape into 2 equal parts, I have 2 halves. 1/2 here and 1/2 here. 2 halves equals 1 whole. If I cut my shape into 4 equal parts, I have fourths. 1, 2, 3, 4 fourths. 4 fourths equals 1 whole. If I cut my whole into 3 equal parts, I have thirds. 1/3, 2/3, 3/3. If I have all of my thirds together, I have 1 whole. So 1 whole, 2 halves, 4 fourths, and 3/3 are all equal to each other. Now, if I took one of these halves away, I would only have 1 out of 2 parts, which is 1/2. Okay? Because I have 1 out of 2 total parts. I have 1, 2 equal parts, and I only have one of those parts right here. So I have 1 out of 2, or 1/2. The same goes for fourths. I have 1, 2, 3, 4 equal parts. So if I took one of those parts away, I would have 1 out of 4 parts, or 1/4. One of these parts is 1 out of 4, or 1/4. Just like 1 out of 2 is 1/2. Now to answer a question that sometimes some of you have, if you say, well, I'm just taking one of these, and that's 1/2. So why is 1 of these not equal to 1/2? Well, the reason is because I'm only taking a fourth of the shape, not a whole half of it. I'm only just taking this little part, which is 1 out of 4 parts, or 1/4. The same goes for thirds. This shape is separated into 1, 2, 3 equal parts, which means if I take one away, I have 1 out of 3 parts, or 1/3. Now, if I took 2 of the thirds away, I would have 2 out of 3 of the parts, or 2/3. Okay? So basically a fraction just depends on how much you have of the whole. For example, this fraction right here, and I will highlight it with my star tool. This fraction right here is 1 out of 4, or 1/4. So it looks like this. This fraction as well is 1/4, because I only have 1 out of 4 of the pieces of pizza. So again, I have 1/4. Here I have 0/3, because none of them are shaded. So I have 0/3. I have nothing, right? 0 of the 3 pieces is just the same as 0, okay? But I could say it as 0/3. Here I have 1/2, because I took away half of the whole. I took away half of what the whole is giving me. And here I have the whole square present, so I have 1 whole, 1 out of 1. You could also write it like this, 4 out of 4, because as you can see, 1, 2, 3, 4 equal parts are shown here, but I have all of them. So I have 4 out of 4, which is equal to 1 whole, which is shown right here. Okay? Now, as you can see down here, this shape is also cut into 1, 2, 3, 4 equal parts. But it says that I have 1/2. That's because 2/4 is equal to 1/2. Let me repeat that again with my star tool. 2/4 is equal to 1/2. 1/2 is equal to 1/2. All right, guys. Great job reviewing fractions with me today. We learned about a whole, we learned about half, we learned about thirds, and we will continue learning about equal shares and equal parts in our live sessions. See you soon.